So a few weeks ago, I was going through my bank statement, not even looking for anything, just doing my usual monthly check, and I noticed a Microsoft charge I genuinely couldn't explain. $10. Nothing crazy, but it had been there for months, maybe longer, and I honestly couldn't tell you what it was for. I don't even own an Xbox. I use Word maybe twice a year, if that. Turns out I'm not the only one. If you go digging through comment sections, Reddit threads, even the Better Business Bureau complaint boards, you'll find thousands of people describing the exact same thing, a small recurring charge from Microsoft they don't remember agreeing to, or agreed to once and then completely forgot about. And once you start pulling that thread, you realize it's not really an accident, it's a pattern. A few of them, actually. I'm not saying Microsoft is secretly evil or running some grand conspiracy. That's not really how any of this works. What's actually happening is a lot more mundane and honestly more relatable. Modern subscription businesses are built around a simple bet. They're betting that you're busy, that you'll forget, and that even if you notice the charge, canceling will feel like more hassle than it's worth. Let's actually walk through where the money leaks happen, what changed in 2026, and more usefully, what you can actually do about it. Xbox Game Pass and the price creep nobody announces loudly. Let's start with gaming, because this is the one most people actually remember signing up for. You buy a new Xbox or a gaming PC, and somewhere in the setup flow, there's a tempting offer a month of Game Pass Ultimate for $1 or $2. Hundreds of games, day one releases, cloud gaming. It's genuinely a good deal on paper, and that's exactly why it works. Here's the part that trips people up though. A few years back, Microsoft killed off the old Xbox Live Gold subscription entirely and folded it into what's now called Game Pass Core, later renamed Game Pass Essential. If you had Gold, you got moved over automatically, no action needed. Which sounds convenient until you realize it also means you never had to actively choose anything. So a lot of people didn't even notice the switch happened. Ultimate pricing has also moved around a lot. It climbed as high as $29.99 a month after a 2025 price hike that caused a fair amount of backlash. Then Microsoft walked it back down to $22.99 a month in April 2026. That's still nearly triple what a lot of people remember paying when they first signed up years ago. None of that is illegal or even unusual for subscription software prices go up. Tiers get renamed. That's business. The actual problem is friction. Canceling isn't hard because it's technically difficult. It's hard because the flow is buried a few menus deeper than it needs to be, and auto-renew stays switched on by default unless you specifically go find it and turn it off. That's a design choice, and it's a pretty well-documented one across the subscription industry, not just Microsoft. The Microsoft 365 trial, you didn't really opt into this one's probably the most common complaint I found, and it's easy to see why. Buy a new laptop, and during that first setup screen, the one you're basically forced to sit through before you reach your actual desktop, there's almost always a full screen prompt nudging you toward a free trial of Microsoft 365. The Activate button is big, blue, impossible to miss. The no thanks option is usually tiny text tucked in a corner, sometimes barely visible against the background. You hand over a card number just to get past the screen, thinking you'll cancel before the trial ends, and then life happens. As of 2026, Microsoft 365 Personal runs around $12.99 a month, up from $9.99 not long ago, and there's another price increase reportedly landing in July 2026 on top of that. A lot of people don't clock the renewal until the full charge hits their statement, sometimes a year after they forgot they ever signed up. To be fair to Microsoft here, this isn't really an illegal trick. The terms are technically disclosed, just in the kind of dense legal language nobody reads during a stressful new computer setup. That's the actual issue, not deception exactly, but a design that relies on you not paying close attention at the one moment you're least likely to. OneDrive, the 5GB trap, and Microsoft quietly shrinking your cheap options. Every Microsoft account still comes with a free OneDrive allowance of exactly 5GB. That number hasn't changed in years, and honestly, 5GB disappears fast once you're taking photos on a modern phone. Once you hit that ceiling, you start getting the notifications warnings that your inbox could stop syncing. that your files are at risk, that kind of thing. It creates urgency, and urgency makes people upgrade without comparison shopping. What's new for 2026 is something a lot of people haven't noticed yet. Microsoft has been discontinuing some of its cheaper standalone storage tiers, including certain OneDrive for business plans, citing low customer demand. The alternatives they're steering people toward tend to be bundled into pricier Microsoft 365 suites rather than sold on their own. So if you were on one of those smaller, cheaper plans just to keep a bit of extra cloud storage, you may find yourself nudged toward a bigger, more expensive bundle, whether you actually need the rest of what's in it or not. Basic tiers are still reasonably priced. Microsoft 365 Basic gets you 100 GB for under $10 a month, but the overall direction is the same one you see across the industry. Fewer small, cheap options, more pressure toward the bigger bundle. Copilot, the AI upsell that quietly became mandatory-ish. This is the part of the story that's actually changed the most since this topic started getting attention. So it's worth getting right. Copilot Pro, the standalone $20 a month AI add-on, was retired for new subscribers in late 2025. Existing users can keep it until support ends on August 4th, 2026. But nobody new can sign up for it anymore. In its place, Microsoft launched Microsoft 365 Premium at $19.99 a month, which bundles Copilot with the full Office apps and up to 6 TB of storage. Here's the more interesting part though. Microsoft also raised the price of the standard Microsoft 365 personal and family plans by a few dollars a month specifically to bake Copilot's AI features into them, by default a 30 to 43% increase depending on the plan. If you didn't ask for AI features and don't particularly want them, you're likely paying for them anyway, unless you dig through account settings to find a classic, Copilot-free version of your plan, which Microsoft does technically still offer to existing subscribers if you go looking for it. That's the pattern worth paying attention to going into 2026, not a single dramatic scam, but a slow blending of software you already pay for with new premium feature you didn't ask for, rolled into one bill so it's harder to tell where the increase actually came from. So what can you actually do about it? First, the boring but genuinely useful step: pull up 12 to 24 months of bank or card statements and search for Microsoft, Microsoft, and Xbox in the merchant column. Don't rely on Microsoft's own account dashboard to give you the full picture. Gaming, Office, and storage subscriptions are managed through separate portals, and it's easy for one of them to slip past you entirely. Second, know where the law actually stands right now, because there's some outdated info floating around on this topic. The FTC did pass a click-to-cancel rule back in 2024 that would have forced companies to make canceling as easy as signing up. A federal appeals court struck that rule down in July 2025 over procedural issues, so important part it is not currently in effect. The FTC reopened the rulemaking process in early 2026 and is trying again, but that process typically takes a year or more to actually become binding law. What is still fully valid and enforceable right now is ROSCA, the Restore Online Shoppers Confidence Act, a federal law that requires companies to clearly disclose billing terms before charging you, and to provide a reasonably simple way to cancel. If you ever get billed without clear disclosure, that's the actual law worth citing when you contact support or file a complaint. If you're in California, you're in better shape regardless. The state's automatic renewal law requires a clear self-service online cancellation option, no phone call or retention pitch required. Some other states have passed similar laws since. It's worth checking whether yours is one of them. Third, consider using a virtual card for trial services like Privacy. Calm let you generate a card number with a hard spending cap tied to a specific merchant. Set it at $1 or $2 for that trial sign-up, and when the renewal charge tries to go through at full price, it simply can't. No overdraft, no argument with customer support, no forgetting to cancel in time. It's not a loophole or a trick. It's just controlling the one variable, your card number, that the whole subscription model depends on. And if you do find a charge you never knowingly agreed to, don't just cancel and move on. Contact billing support, reference ROSCA by name, and ask for a retroactive refund. It won't always work, but clearly citing the actual law tends to get you further than a general complaint, because it signals you know what you're talking about instead of just being annoyed. None of this makes Microsoft uniquely villainous. Most major subscription services, from streaming to software to gaming, lean on some version of these same tactics because forgetfulness and friction are genuinely profitable at scale. But knowing where the real numbers, the real dates, and the real legal protections stand puts you in a much better position than just being frustrated and paying anyway. If you've caught a charge like this on your own statement or fought your way through one of these cancellation flows, drop your experience in the comments. It genuinely helps other people recognize the pattern before it costs them a few $100s a year they never meant to spend.